Russian diplomats gathered in Saudi Arabia to look for a way to end the war in Ukraine. The State Department spokesman says they've agreed to work on addressing problems in the U.S.-Russia relationship, but no date's been set for President Trump to meet with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Republican Senator Tom Cotton just told Fox the last president's to blame.
I think the reality on the ground in Ukraine is that Joe Biden left the world with a terrible mess. His weakness tempted Putin to invade in the first place. He pussyfooted around for 3 years.
Now, Ukraine was not part of today's talks. Its president says he won't agree to any peace deal that Ukraine's not part of. 18 people are recovering in Toronto after a flightmare. The Delta connection plane flying in from Minneapolis with 80 people on board.
Crash landing and then rolling belly up on the runway. People described hanging like bats and then getting themselves free from their seatbelts and standing on what is normally the ceiling.
Fox's Nate Foy in Toronto. Nobody died. Strong winds may have been a factor in the crash. More people have died in Kentucky's flood disaster. It's up to 12 now. Somebody also killed in West Virginia. Parts of Tennessee also underwater. This woman's apartment got flooded in Clarksville, and she does not have insurance.
I won't get anything to recover anything that I lost, and I've lost everything.
The anti-Doge protests are growing, denouncing Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Trump and Musk have got to go!
Now, that was in Tampa and Washington yesterday, and while there are legal challenges aiming to stop Doge pending.
Doge is still working to access IRS data. We understand that access is imminent. It would allow Doge employees with the appropriate clearances and approvals to comb through tightly controlled files that include bank records and other taxpayer information, but critics are warning that any mistakes in this database could potentially have disruptions to the tax filing system.
Jackie Heinrich at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Those U.S.-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia that have wrapped up discussing how to end the war in Ukraine come the day after European leaders gathered in Paris
to discuss their response to a peace agreement.
President Putin has to realize that at this moment, NATO is able to defend itself. If he would try to capture 1 square mile of Estonia or Poland or whatever territory in NATO, the reaction will be devastating.
But NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says that will only remain the case if NATO allies boost defense spending, a key request of President Trump as well. Ukrainian officials are not expected to be represented, at least yet, when U.S. officials meet with a Russian delegation in Saudi Arabia. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Now, this is a big deal in California today.
The Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority today begins its annual count of the L.A. area's homeless population. The census is scheduled to take place over the coming days across L.A. County, starting in places like the San Fernando Valley. The count is used to help the authority deliver services to indigent people living on the streets, a situation that has grown significantly worse in Los Angeles in recent years. The count was due to begin last month, but was postponed due to the wildfires plaguing the L.A. metro. Last year's tally exceeded 75,000 homeless in L.A. County. Eben Brown, Fox News.
On Wall Street, rising stock futures suggest that the Dow and the Nasdaq might go up to start the week after a long President's Weekend holiday. There was drama on the ice in the U.S., Canada, and Sweden-Finland tournament.
Backhand on Granlund at center by Crosby, shoots to the empty net and scores!
Sidney Crosby sealed the win for Canada, beating Finland 5-3 on TNT. Then Sweden beat the U.S. 2-1, but the American team still finished first in the tournament, involving NHL players, so sets up a U.S.-Canada finale on Thursday. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Well, Urbana police taking measures to curb domestic violence in the wake of a recent shooting of a young boy. A week ago, 7-year-old DJ Wicks killed in a shootout between his father and another man who was killed. Police chief says they propose a domestic violence response unit combining law enforcement, social services, and healthcare providers. Shamario Brown's been found guilty of attempted murder in connection with the 2022 shooting of an elderly couple in Champaign. Brown convicted on 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm. Well, the state of Illinois mourning the loss of a Glenview police officer. According to local police, Officer Robert Frick was killed in a crash on his way to work at around 4 Sunday morning. Officer Frick had been with the department since 2007. He was recently honored for saving a fellow officer while on duty last summer. Prayers go out to the officer's family. Thanks for his service. That's what's happening. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Yeah, the countdown continues because according to my weather climate class from 1900 and it's this is our last final blast like this.
Yes.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. Greg Solier does. We're not going to get 5 days in a row with single digits. No, can't do it. Not gonna do it, as George.
I knew that was coming.
Not gonna do it. Anyway, this is cold, man. 2 above is what I got on my thermometer. So
yeah, that's 3 right now. Willard and Savoy, 1 at Rantoul. If you pencil a line from like Watseka to Galesburg and there northward, everybody down below 0 this morning. You get out to your alma mater at 11 below right now, and you get up into the southern Canadian prairie of Saskatchewan. Don't pick your noise. Poison. It's 40, 45. Below 0 there this morning. So
you know what?
Yeah.
You got Lands, ABC Heating and Air, you got Mefred's, you got Dogtown. Yep. Those guys are pounded. Now that's good.
Right.
Yeah. HVAC companies get to work like heck because everybody's stuff kind of falters when it's 2.
And the pipes.
Yeah, I got to be careful. Those.
Yeah, roadway stuff.
Yeah.
My part of the world, a lot of communities dealing with busted pipes and flooded out, everywhere because of it.
Yep. So. All right. Well, I'm Stevie J. Good morning. There's Diane Ducey.
Hello.
Our weather this morning brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
They remind you they've got their health and wellness center going, and no matter what the weather, you can go in and get a great workout, maybe some pickleball or the weight room. Learn more at urbanaparks.org.
All right. It's our meteorologist, Greg Solier, detailing what we have and what is obvious. It's cold.
Yep, it's boy, keep an eye on things, friend, family, and everything else. But this too shall pass with signs of a nice, I think it's temporary, it looks temporary, but a nice respite from this cold as we see a nice turnaround in temperature readings. Wouldn't want to necessarily at the onset call it warmer because we got a transition in this particular kind of setup to wind, but we'll begin to balance the books here temperature-wise, and melting, thawing, a better feel, getting a little soft and muddy out there again with temperatures back and forth between freezing and subtle freezing at night and almost an early spring feel around here in spots come early next week. So hang in there. But in the meantime, as you pointed out, single-digit readings up towards the Kankakee at 1 below right now. Snowing still St. Louis bound if you're in that general direction at 6 at the current hour. Temperatures have moderated in some of that snow, which is coming on down several inches, but closer to the I-64 corridor and trailing back west into parts of the Great Plains. It's the boundary between that Arctic, supercharged Arctic air north and a little temperate pattern south. But those southern areas, Brother Johnny's place, hard freeze coming, snow and ice again. Dallas, Fort Worth, down towards and around back up to Oklahoma City and east from there in the coming days, almost to repeat what they had down there just a few weeks ago. Partly sunny, cold for the day-to-day. Couple of snow flurries around this morning and again late. That's especially from Champaign here on southward. 14 the high, down tonight to 7 above, and a couple of snowflakes around tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, cold, a few flurries early, a snow shower late, especially from here in town on southward with a high at 16. Close to 0 tomorrow night, back up to 18 Thursday, 0 Friday morning, but then we do a moderate to 23 in the afternoon. Not bad, a little more wind, but getting us to 30 on Saturday, close to 40 on Sunday, and into the low to mid 40s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
All right, buddy, thank you very much. Here we go. It's time to talk what happened in Toronto. Delta Airlines landing, and apparently, well, they're trying to figure out what happened.
Right,
but there's
wind?
Well, possibly if you overcorrect on a wing, I'm told you can flip it. And so the Delta airline that landed in Toronto yesterday, it looked like it was normal, and then all of a sudden it hits the runway, and the thing bursts into fire and flips over. The wing hits the ground, bursts into fire, and it completely flips over. And it's on its. You're hanging like a bat.
Yeah, that's what the news report said.
Yeah, you're hanging there, and
but nobody died.
Nobody died. 18 hurt, a couple serious, no life-threatening.
I think 80 on board.
Yep. You look at that thing and you're going, okay, so that looks bad. And so the fire department got there, put out the fire.
Right.
And then they evacuated. They used the ceiling as a floor because if you undo your belt and you're upside down, obviously you're going to fall.
Right.
So you got to somehow grab the belt and use it and hang and jump kind of thing. I don't know how else that would have worked. But if you're buckled in, you're upside down. If you let that go, you're going to go on your head. So you have to navigate. And I'm not sure. I've never, of course, been in that position. But if you do that and hold on to the belt would be strong enough to kind of like a rope and then, I guess, or fall. I don't know. Anyway, it's a horrible looking scene. But we've had wind shears here that are just like, man.
Mm-hmm.
A family that died in that plane crash in Rantoul.
That's right.
I was outside at that time of the day, and I felt that thing, whatever that wind was. I went inside immediately saying something's going on.
Yeah.
Because that thing was, I'd never felt anything like that. So they happen, and if it can lift a wing, but they'll do that study. That's a Canadian study, but some airplane incidents here to start 2025.
That's for sure.
The one over Reagan National with the Black Hawk and the CJ something kind of planes we fly out of Willard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what? It's still, if you do the numbers, it's pretty darn safe to fly. But you get more headlines like this, it makes a guy wonder.
Well, our plane dropped probably about a foot. It was a real drastic turbulence that we had when I was heading back from Palm Springs, and everybody in the flight is on heightened aviation awareness, and we're all looking at each other with our eyes bugging out, but it tapered off after that.
Well, I think probably if you fly enough, you'll have hit something.
Yeah.
And it is scary, and you don't know. And it's recently I had a pretty bumpy one it was bumpy for a half hour to where you just, oh, crud. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a half hour.
Oh, man.
And so you're just sitting there and you make your peace with God and you're good. And you just.
Then there's that incident when you were with Mike Ditka.
No,
there was a fundraiser in Peoria for the baseball team. And
that's totally when I really started praying, think this is it, because we flew in the middle of we were in a private plane. Mike Ditka was doing a thing, an appearance, and I went with him because somebody booked it through me.
Mm-hmm.
And I drive all the way to Midway to get on a little jet for 20 minutes to Peoria. And it was a father-son pilot thing in a very old jet. It was a jet, but it was old. That's all they got.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went right in the middle of a storm. I don't understand. A jet, you can actually fly around a storm.
Right.
So I'm not in a propeller airplane here.
Oh.
And the guy, he left his cockpit door open, and they leaned back and said, "Sorry about that, guys." I said, I didn't know I was taking a biplane today.
I know.
What the heck is this?
Jeez.
And so I prayed I was going to miss Janet and the kids, and it was going to be okay. And then just so funny where your brain thinks when you think you're going to die. I was thinking, shoot, I really tried to live a good life, and I'm going to be known as the trivia question, who died with Mike Ditka. Nobody will ever know.
Darn it.
But he was, we were both. And then we left that fundraiser. Yeah, I said, Johnny thinks we should go to Philo and spend the night because he'd spent the night or been to Philo a number of times. I don't think he ever spent the night. Anyway, so he never even looked back. He just did his hobbling like Coach does. And said, I'm going to Chicago.
Okay.
I guess I'll go with you. I thought I could get a ride from Peoria easier than I want to go on that plane.
Right.
And it worked out, but it was, but we've all had plane experiences where this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, sometimes stuff comes up for these pilots. You can see, but things occur that you don't, that's why they say leave your seatbelt on, right? They say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When seated, leave your seat. Well, there's a reason.
Right.
Because stuff happens. All right, we check our sports headlines, and
a couple of bad news stories. I know Itch Jones had been fighting something for, 3 years?
Yeah, Itch had been sick. Itch Jones, the great former Illinois baseball coach who had Dan Hartlib as his assistant for so many years. He passes away last night at the age of 87 in Oklahoma. Itch was just a great human being. I mean, I knew him pretty well, went golf with him. He was a guest sportscaster a number of times for me. Loved Itch Jones. Prayers to Sue and the family. And, God bless Itch Jones passes away. Basketball team, Merez Johnson Jr. is out.
Merez Johnson is out and will not play for a good bit. He broke his wrist. A fall elite block shot that he made. Fell. He hit the floor pretty hard and was tough enough to bounce up and just say tape it. That impacted a couple of his close misses at the rim as well late in the game. He's in a cast and no timeline to that at this point. We'll strap it up and have to move.
Yep, and they will, and they'll play tonight. We're a 3.5-point underdog at Madison. That's pretty respectful because
Madison's bumped up to 11 now.
Well, Wisconsin's the number one offense in America, so it doesn't feel like. But I love it. We've all heard it's not what happens to you; it's how you react when it happens to you. Brad said, I look forward to it, the challenge of it. We've got a lot of good guys, and Trey White's finally healthy, so I think we'll see him a lot tonight. He had 23 the first time we played Wisconsin.
He's 7:30 tip-off at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin.
FS1 or
FS1.
FS1, Fox Sports 1. Yeah, you're looking at thinking there's no way we're going to win up there without Merez because all the offensive and defensive rebounds and the toughness inside. But the kid broke his wrist on that horrific fall and then said, tape me up. And it went back in.
That's right.
Man,
he was grimacing, though. Man.
Ooh, it had to hurt.
It looked so bad.
It hurt, yeah.
Top 25, Auburn at number 1, Florida, Duke, Alabama, Houston, all in the top 5. When it comes to the Big Ten, we're more 11 and under with Wisconsin at 11. Then Michigan, who's jumped up 8 spots at 12. Purdue's number 13 sliding down. Number 14, Michigan State. And number 20, Maryland. So we're taking note of that. Minnesota's at UCLA tonight with a 9:30 tip-off. Trent Harris has bumped up to the outside linebacker coach, according to Brett Bielema, our head football coach. We already hit that Richard Itch Jones passed away at the age of 86, it looks like. It looks like he broke his leg in 3rd grade, and he had a cast on, and he used a fly swatter to try to itch his leg, and his cousin named him Itchy back in the day. So Richard Itch Jones has passed away. Good friend of Dan Hartlib. Boy, they had worked together for years, not only University of Illinois, but SIU.
Yeah. Weather brought to you this morning by Carl.
Carl reminds you that during February, we're focusing on our heart, and they can help you through it all, from convenient care to advanced diagnostics. Keep your heart in the right hands. Carl.org.
All right, check your Fox Business Minute. Coming up next, ESPN 93.5.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign, and Van vicinity. Boy, care and caution in this cold, and farther south and towards the I-70 corridor to the I-64 run this morning. Organized icy crystalline snows, and boy, that mother load of Arctic air making its way out of the southern Canadian prairie. 40 to 45 degree below zero temperatures, none too far north of the U.S. border at the current time. Obviously not that cold, but cold enough in the coming days all the way to the Gulf Coast. But we see a nice pattern shift around here. A thaw, milder days ahead come the weekend, more so into next week. 14, the forecast high with a partly sunny sky for the day today and a couple of snow flurries around this morning. And again later this afternoon, especially from Champaign on southward. Flurries at times tonight, 7 above. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, cold. Flurries in the morning and the afternoon at 16. We'll level off near 0 tomorrow night. Thursday, cold start, partly sunny, 18. Close to 0 Friday morning again. Highs up to 23, but then 30 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, 40s Monday and Tuesday. For Steve Vijay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Take charge of the years ahead with a smart, sound investment strategy and business succession plan. Busey Bank's business and wealth management experts help you envision your best future with powerful insights and proven strategies. Building business and growing wealth since 1868. Busey Bank, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Defense stocks are rising as administration officials meet with representatives from Russia in Saudi Arabia to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. Barron says any peace deal will likely result in increased government spending on defense, even if it's not the U.S. government spending it. Delta Airlines shares are down 1% after yesterday's incident in Toronto, where a jet operated by its regional subsidiary flipped over on landing at Toronto's Pearson International Airport. Honda is apparently willing to resume merger talks with Nissan Motor if Nissan CEO Makoto Uchida steps down. The Financial Times is attributing its report to a person familiar with discussions. The merger talks collapsed last week. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Andrew was a first-time home seller. He reached out to the team at the Nate Evans Group to learn more about his options. Andrew says that the experts at Nate Evans Group provided valuable insights and guidance throughout the whole selling process, and he was able to sell his home quickly and got a great price.
In fact, you could go to your phone right now and start to get the process going as you look in the middle of the page at nateevansgroup.com and get home value, enter your address, and start to get some assistance with all the experience on his team. It really makes it handy, and for instance, the builders that he partners with to know what's coming up in different subdivisions. What are you looking for in the next chapter? You can really trust the friend in the business, Nate Evans of the Nate Evans Group with eXp Realty, getting you that immediate cash offer on your home. Call the only agent I would call if I needed to sell my home. It's Nate Evans at 217-239-7113. A simple online search to Nate Evans Group and start packing.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to thenateevansgroup.com.
Hi, this is Ross Craig with Philo Exchange Bank. Do you need a loan? When it comes to personal or commercial lending, experience matters. Philo Exchange Bank is a different kind of bank with over 135 years of combined lending experience. Let us be your trusted partner. Unlike many other banks, our lending decisions are made quickly and efficiently within the walls of the bank.
Philo Exchange Bank, hometown community banking since 1883. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
All right, good morning. Good to have you listening. I am Stevie J. That is Diane Ducey.
February 18.
Feb 18. Illinois tonight, 7:30. FS1 against Wisconsin, the Mighty Badgers. And we will go up there and see what happens. It's really hard to predict basketball, but seemingly with Merez Johnson Jr. out, you got to favor the Badgers. Only 3.5, though, so the Illini still getting plenty of respect.
Next home game a week from today on February 25th against Iowa. That's the second to the last game. That's at 8 o'clock start, but if you're interested in going, text in Illini 217-359-2255. See if you win from Express Employment Professionals, your link to top talent and recruitment opportunities at expresspros.com.
All right, I'm going to do a Stever for Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. I'll give you $500 to two people who want to get an appliance. You have to spend a minimum of $1,000, which sadly is very easy to do.
Yes, it is.
So if you are interested in an appliance today and take advantage of $500 off a Dick Van Dyke appliance, you can text in DVD as in Dick Van Dyke.
They're located at 1510 North Neal Street, right off of I-74 in Champaign. No relation to the actor out of Danville.
Never knew that till I started working with him.
Exactly.
I mean, it would make sense, right?
Right.
All right, so again, text in DVD if you're interested in $500 toward an appliance of at least $1,000. So
you want to look at your selection, appliance-world.com, to try to pick out what you're interested in, and DVD 359-2255.
And you won't find anything like this anywhere else in your life.
$1,000. Wow.
I give out 2 $500 bills. So good luck. And if you win, you'll probably get a contact later today.
That free 5 to 10 year protection plan. Wow.
Yeah, there you go. DVD to 217-359-2255. Okay, so the outrage continues.
Over.
Yeah. How dare you look for fraud and waste
on Doge?
Your privacy. Privacy. Wait a minute. It's like you found the bank money in the back of my seat, but you broke into my car? What are you doing? That's my privacy. What about the bank stuff? What? Yeah, illegal. Sue. I'm going to sue you.
I can understand how people are, nervous.
About what?
About this billionaire poking around, but
he's the guy been appointed by the president. The president of the United States got the majority of the votes. His prerogative is to cut waste. He has appointed a person, happens to be a billionaire, happens to be kind of a genius. He's done like 5 things that none of us have done any of. He's really, really smart. So you start poking around and find the social. Did you see the Social Security list? Did you see that?
No.
There's a Social Security I wonder if there's any fraud in Social Security and some of the money we're doling out. Was it Medicare? In any event, I think it's Social Security. So now when you have incomplete information, they just kind of incomplete. But according to their list, now there's 101,000 100-year-olds in America. There's 101,000. That's quite a few.
Yes, it is.
You're 100 or over, you're 101,000. According to Social Security, we have 4,734,000 100-year-olds to 109. 4,700,000 when the stats in the census says we have 100,000.
Oh, wow.
We have 3,472,000 people in America, 120 years old. Did you know we have one listed at 360 years old getting benefits?
Oh, man.
There are over 20 million checks going out to people aged over 100.
I see.
How much waste is that? If you just say they get $1,000 a month, some don't get near that, some get more than that.
So let's say it's relatives that are still cashing the checks. Well, they have to do all the
maybe
back
they
pay
swiped your identification.
Right.
Maybe these are syndicates and organized.
No.
I'm just saying, so are you unhappy that this is a funny looking number? Does that matter to you? You looked into my computer. What about the actual fraud as opposed to the process? All you've got is the process because we're going to find people that have been taking money that they shouldn't be taking. Now, if you don't want to know that, okay, let's go deeper in debt. Let's higher taxes. Kamala Harris is talking the only way out is higher taxes.
Right.
She didn't win this election.
No, thank you.
I'm just saying that.
Let's take a peek and try to find some answers.
I just don't get it. I guess it's...
you just get nervous. I mean, when the auditor comes, you might be nervous when the auditor comes.
Listen.
Just because you're not sure if you got everything right and...
Yeah, but listen, all these people are sad because they're losing jobs. I get it. I'm sorry about that. The media companies across the world are cutting people.
Yes.
Does anybody write about that? Does anybody?
I know. Well, you're writing about yourself. So.
Well, I'm just saying that's a big shift. And the problem with that is that if we don't have a free and fair media that covers it free and fairly, we're doomed. The Republic will not work without a watchdog.
Yeah.
And we're losing the watchdog if we haven't already. So anyway, it's just crazy, and they're talking about the outrage of the process versus the outrage of the fraud. I can't believe you followed me. The money was in your trunk. That's invasion of privacy. It's nuts to me.
You have a point. Thank you for putting it through the Stevie J filter.
217-359-2255. Tell me I'm wrong. I'd love to be corrected. I don't understand. It's just like outrage. Privacy. And they're going through all the judges. I think ultimately Donald Trump's going to have the power to do all this. It just delays it. But it is absolutely nonsensical to me to hear that. Democrats, a lot more this time, voted for Donald Trump. Frank Luntz, who's no Donald Trump fan, does a lot of focus groups on CNN. He had a clip here I want to play for you about how the Democrats who voted for Trump have reacted to the early Trump. Let's find out what he says. Stand by. The news is next. The text on the Fisher National Bank text line, 217-359-2255.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The first high-level U.S.-Russia talks to end the war in Ukraine are over in Saudi Arabia today without Ukrainian involvement at this point. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says they've agreed to restore staffing at embassies in Washington and Moscow.
For us to be able to continue to move down this road, we need to have diplomatic facilities that are operating and functioning normally.
Says an end to the conflict must be acceptable to all parties involved. The mayor of New York City could be forced out by the governor of New York State.
4 New York City deputy mayors resigned Monday, throwing the city administration into further turmoil. In light of that, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement Monday night she's considering removing fellow Democrat Mayor Eric Adams from office.
Fox's Carmen Roberts. Mayor Adams had federal criminal charges dropped and pledges to work with the Trump administration on immigration enforcement. He'd be the first ever mayor removed from office by the governor, who can do so under state law. America's listening to Fox News.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do. Recycling.
Stevie J here with Nate Evans of eXp Realty. You'll always get a stress-free sale for the most money.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to thenateevansgroup.com.
Here's a look at local news. The Stellantis auto plant in Belvedere has new life. The plant's been idle for 2 years, leaving more than 1,000 workers out of work. Now, after the UAW and Stellantis reached a new agreement, the plant will resume operations in 2027 and bring back roughly 1,500 jobs to the area. Last fall, the Pacific Legal Foundation filed a lawsuit against the Minority Teachers of Illinois Scholarship Program, citing its race-based criteria. The MTI awards scholarships of up to $7,500 to minority students who plan to become teachers. PLF seeks to dismantle a scholarship program designed to support minority educators, framing it as a constitutional violation. New event took center stage in Champaign Sunday. The Champaign-Urbana Schools Foundation showcased the musical talents of students and staff at their We Are Schools Music Fest. The groups all had either a student, teacher, or staff member as part of their performances. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Okay, we got what we got. We just got cold. I mean, it's just cold. We know how to do this, people. We'll get through this, and it's going to be 52 a week from tomorrow.
It could be that this is the last blip. You know what I mean?
I mean,
we're at 3 right now.
Logically, would you have another week in March? Yeah, you could. But again, it'll be light till 6.
Right.
I like the light.
Yeah, me too.
Weather brought to you by Busey. For over 155 years, member FDIC.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. Boy, care and caution in this cold, and farther south and towards the I-70 corridor to the I-64 run this morning. Organized icy crystalline snows, and boy, that motherload of Arctic air making its way out of the southern Canadian prairie. 40 to 45 degree below zero temperatures, none too far north of the U.S. border at the current time. Obviously not that cold, but cold enough in the coming days all the way to the Gulf Coast, but we see a nice pattern shift around here. A thaw, milder days ahead come the weekend, more so into next week. 14, the forecast high with a partly sunny sky for the day today and a couple of snow flurries around this morning. And again, later this afternoon, especially from Champaign on southward. Flurries at times tonight, 7 above. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, cold. Flurries in the morning and the afternoon at 16. We'll level off near 0 tomorrow night. Thursday, cold start, partly sunny, 18, close to 0 Friday morning again. Highs up to 23, but then 30 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, 40s Monday and Tuesday. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. There's no one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is we can help you improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
All right, so 217-359-2255. I was bringing up the Doge and the fact that there seems to be a lot of things being spent on perhaps the majority would not vote for. We talked about the opera, the trans opera in Peru or wherever the heck these things are. But there's a long list of saying, what is that for? Mm-hmm. Some of them are so vague you don't really know. Helping political standing in Pakistan. What do you mean?
Right.
So again, this is money we put in here, folks. It's your money. And if you're okay with...
Why can't we keep it in America? Isn't it called U.S. aid?
It's supposed to help people survive or feed them or really help medically. That's all great. America is
I mean, we can help after we get a balanced budget.
Well, we can't. Well, but even then, are you spending U.S. aid money on plays?
Right.
On transgender surgeries for kids in Ecuador.
So Terry in Champaign had texted in, well said. Sarah had mentioned Elon owned PayPal at one time. He's not the one to worry about with our personal information.
And just a time out on that one. What do you think, seriously, is private about your life right now?
Right.
You obviously don't want people handling your Social Security they shouldn't have. They steal identities.
Right, and you don't want fraud in your life.
It's a big deal, and it's a big problem. But, you're talking about a guy that isn't getting paid for what he's doing. He just happens to be rich, and there's some resentment for the super rich. In fact, the richest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But is he not smart? Yeah, he's a brilliant guy. You can't refute that. You look silly refuting that. And what they're uncovering so quickly, I think, is a gift.
Well, and then, of course, Nick with the opposition. I love how you question everything Democrats say, but take Elon says everything Elon says at face value without a shred of evidence.
I think there's evidence. I would dispute that. I think we have a lot of documentation now showing where the money USAID. Remember, we told the USAID people to leave the building. They refused. In other words, they said, well, we got to take a look. They said no. And so they shut all the computers off immediately. Otherwise, things would not be. They'd destroy the evidence. You bet.
Shredding.
Oh yeah. And now when you do something, that's why they walk people out of buildings, is because they're afraid of what they'll do if they let them stay to the end of the day.
You're right.
So you have to do it. But I think there is evidence by nature of the news in the last 2 weeks of the laundry list of things, and you can say it's not true. Okay, well, let's just keep going and find out. Mm-hmm. But you can't just discount it as, intrusive. Folks, we're going to save billions and if not $1 trillion on this effort.
Man, we need that.
But wouldn't that?
We've been looking away for so long.
It's just
kicking the can down the road on our budget.
It just really makes you think, why haven't we had a hard look and audited? A ton of businesses don't move forward with their work without an audit every year.
Right.
Because you have people siphon money. It happens in banks. Locally, we've read stories about that. People can garner millions of dollars in theft over 20 or 30 years at, $1,000 at a time here, a little sneak $9,500 over here. And that's what an audit is for. Where did that money go? Mm-hmm. We should be adamant about where our dollars go. And maybe if you are good at spending money, you don't have to give them as much money. It's just better business.
Is our administration or the people in Washington worried about what they'll uncover?
Well, I think there's some stuff that has happened because all the reporting, and again, I don't know. You could probably find out if you looked into it. How's a guy going to Washington making $180,000 a year turn into a 90 millionaire? Mm-hmm.
There's got to be kickback.
I want to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, there's just. No, do you know anybody that left Washington poor?
Right.
So I mean,
once you're inside and you're working the deal.
This is not a Democrat infection. This is Republican too. I said this in 2015. It's a club. It's just a club. They're all just, I can't stand that idea. But wink, wink, got you back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not.
But this is saying, are you fine with cutting benefits to veterans and the VA cuts?
They're not. No, I am for more to help the veterans. I think it's been awful.
Is it administration cuts?
I just think when you put when we send money to a country, does it go to where we want it to go? Or does the people in charge kind of take it? We have that problem. How do you know it's going to help the people that are dying on the streets? Well, the guy that in charge with the tank, he gets it.
Yeah.
You got a problem with that?
Right.
I just think that we have enriched a lot of people that shouldn't be. And that's why the swamp, the name. There are a lot of people that know this. And now we actually have a guy that doesn't care that you're mad, that we need to do it right. And you can hate him all you want, but Frank Luntz does a lot of polling and a lot of focus groups. And he's not a fan of Donald Trump. He's on CNN, surprising the anchor.
We wanted to have you on because you do a lot of focus groups. You really get behind the numbers, the poll numbers, to the sentiments of voters. And it's so interesting. You've been speaking with a number of voters who were Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden 2020, and then went for Trump in 2024. How are these folks seeing the early days of Trump's second term?
Pretty well.
Really?
And they're reacting to it because they love the pace of change. They were very fed up over the last 4 years. They wanted action. They wanted results. They looked at prices. They looked at affordability, looked at immigration, and they didn't see anything happening. They still don't like what he says, but they like what he does. And these are Democrats now who felt that they were not securing the border. They were doing nothing to prevent illegal immigration, that nothing was actually happening. They wanted to see a reduction in wasteful Washington spending, and they're seeing that. So what they tell me is, I wish he would be a little bit less rude. But at the same time, they like what he's doing. They believe he's serious about it. And for the first time, they have confidence in the future, which is why you now see some significant shifts in the polling about the expectations for the direction in the coming years.
It's a big wake-up call for Democrats.
I'm waiting for them to get a message. I'm waiting for them to unify and to understand that to oppose and to be the resistance, which is what some of them use that phrase, that's not what Democrats in grassroots areas want from them. They may not want the approach that Trump is doing, President Trump. By the way, I now know to say President Trump. But they do want action, and they don't see action from the Democrats.
Okay, so what do the Democrats do? If you're going to hold on to the men and women's sports, boys and girls, if you're going to hold on to 7-year-old ought to have a sex change if they feel that, you're going to lose. I think we have already kind of figured out what the media has done, and so we've gotten a little wiser to all that. I think that's something in the last decade that has been growing as far as information. So if they want to stay far left with the progressives, and I truly identify a progressive different than I do a Democrat. There are a lot of good Democrats that I grew up with that I know that I like a lot. And you can talk about stuff. But when you get into this rage of in your face and you believe what I believe, and not only that, you better get on the page and hold this sign, it just crosses the line. And so what's going to happen in the midterms? Normally, party in power loses in the midterms. They're headed for a loss. The Democrats, progressives that run the party are headed for a loss in the midterms if they continue. Somebody's going to have to somehow have some Joe Manchin in them that says, yeah, that guy's, yeah. There's a lot of people in the middle that say, that makes sense. I like that guy. And by the way, J.D. Vance, how they don't like how Trump says it and he's rude and all. J.D. Vance has kind of the velvet brick thing going on because
he's got an eloquent style.
Well, when he did that Tim Walz vice presidential debate, people felt, well, he kind of hammered him, but he was nice about it.
He was a gentleman.
Yeah, I think that's been kind of lost, but we still want the change. Mm-hmm. But maybe we can do it, and Donald Trump isn't that.
I know.
So he's going to whatever.
Right.
J.D. Vance might have the Trump actions with some more gracious verbiage.
And not so arrogant.
Even though the European leaders are meeting about what J.D. Vance said. How dare he?
Right.
He talked about us suppressing free speech.
Yep.
He's such an amateur. I don't know. I just think a lot of this makes sense, and I think a lot of Americans, a lot of Democrats.
I've heard a couple of JD's clips, and it's interesting when you look at how they are, turning into socialists and deleting a lot of people.
What Europe, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, in Germany, if you retweet now. If you retweet something false, you get your door kicked in.
They could be knocking on your door on what you're doing on your phone with social media.
They don't knock. They kick it in with 6 armed people.
Unbelievable.
So in Germany, you better not.
And that has a pretty crazy feel when you think of, 100 years ago? Or
listen, it's just where we kind of are, and so we're trying to correct. And Elon Musk brought and maybe saved free speech in America. That's how profound what he did with X is. There's things on X I never would have seen. And you can judge whether it's true or false, but there's video.
Speaking of that, I think we're still up at Stevie Jay FM in case you'd like to listen to the show on your phone or just watch the video. It's mainly the audio.
We're there this morning.
Exactly. Right, and we're not getting censored like we were when we were on other platforms.
Yeah. My European producer David says German prosecutors tell 60 Minutes it's a crime to insult people online as government raids now.
Right.
They go into offenders' home.
That's scary.
That's insults. Insults. No, folks, it's a slippery slope. We don't want to do that. 217-359-2255. You want your opinion heard? Please. We read them all. Send them to us. It's a Fisher National Bank text line. Illinois plays basketball tonight. Brad Underwood.
We'll find out. We played a lot early. In some moments, Trey White's back and healthy, and I think that Kerry Booth and all those guys are going to have to give us some opportunities. I thought, early in the year we were playing Rez as his development was growing 8 to 10 minutes. 12 minutes a game, and we're kind of back to that a little bit. Obviously, you've got an elite offensive rebounder that we miss, and so guys are going to have to step up.
Morez Johnson Jr. is out, broken wrist indefinitely, has a cast on his arm. Oh, boy. And yet, Brad Underwood, and again, it's how you react to stuff like this. He said, I look on it as a challenge. Yeah, I mean, we got, as opposed to being Eeyore.
Yeah.
I don't have a chance.
Right.
I mean, it just, you can't, and he knows that, and he knows, but the position he's taking is, come on, let's go.
Let's get those stinking Badgers.
Yeah.
Now bumped up to number 11 in the AP Top 25 college basketball poll. Michigan at 12, jumping up 8 spots. Purdue slid down to 13. Number 14 for Michigan State, 20 for Maryland. Our Illini-Wisconsin game tip-off is at 7:30 on FS1 from Madison in the Kohl Center. So go Illini. Our Illini women jumping into the top 25 at number 25 with their 8-game winning streak. This is the 5th time they've landed in the rankings this season at 21-5 on the season, 11-4 in the Big Ten. More about Itz Jones is coming in, passing away at the age of 87, and his battle with Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease for nearly 3 years, initially being given just 7 months to live, was surrounded by family in Gore, Oklahoma when he passed away yesterday.
He taught me the baseball swing in an aisle in Walmart.
Okay.
I said, it's because the kids were starting to play baseball. He said, now look at here, it's just like throwing sidearm. You throw sidearm. So if you throw the ball sidearm, that's the swing.
Okay, the swing motion.
You go with a sidearm.
That's good.
No, he was a tremendous teacher. And
and Dan Hartlub sure said that. One of the best minds in the game of baseball, a teacher, clinician, entertainer, and champion, and talked about all his innovative drills and just in the baseball community, how he's just so sad.
And Itch invented something I still have. He has this long pole with a baseball on each end, and you strap it on your wrist, and you kind of swing it for the kids to swing the ball on the other end of the stick.
Okay.
And it just puts the eye on the ball, and it's really innovative, and I still have it. So, good man. God bless their family.
He and
Jones.
Sue were married. We're 62 years.
Wow.
So
yeah, she's sweet. Anyway, it's just miss a great guy there, but I can't think of Itchy Jones without a smile. You think of people when they pass. Can't think of Itch without a smile.
That's nice.
Yeah, great man.
He was born February 15th, 1938, so just had that birthday into 87. So, yeah, we've got a hockey game tonight. We talked about Sweden.
Is it a hockey game or a boxing match? Because
the last time we faced Canada, there was 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of play.
Well, these are NHL players? I'm confused. Is this NHL guys?
The game is on Thursday, by the way.
Okay, so it's Tuesday, so Thursday's and it's brutally entertaining from the standpoint of they face off and they drop the gloves and they just go and they let them fight.
Players are saying this is the most intense game of their career when they face Canada. So Sweden beat the USA 2-1 yesterday in this 4 national face-off, I think is what they're calling this tournament.
I don't even understand what's happening, but I think these are NHL pro guys. So they all know each other, have histories with each other, and all this other stuff. So the fact that the Canadians booed the national anthem ticked them off.
I know.
They ticked them off. So it will be intense. They let them fight to win. I think when they're both on the ice, I think the referees jump on them. And they stop it after they both are on the ice. And then helmets get flown off and all.
Right.
So it can get pretty dangerous.
But in the first 9 seconds, there's 3 fights.
Let's go. These guys, hockey, I believe, and I don't know, but I think hockey people are different. I think they're just a little different breed.
They're totally aggressive for sure.
Well, they just are. It's a physical. And not only that, is you're flying. How many miles an hour can a hockey guy go?
Right.
30? They go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's serious collision.
I wish I could see that puck. Can they make it glow in the dark or something?
They tried that. They tried making it an orange thing you could watch on the screen, but I think it just looked too weird.
Okay.
Hockey aficionados are saying, "What's up, eh? How do you know? What's your problem, man? It's right there."
All right, we have Dr. Todd coming up, and if you have an animal advice that you're looking for, of course, we need to be concerned about the pets with the weather as it is. 217-359-2255.
All right, we'll get to that coming up. We check meteorologist Greg Solier's weather again, and it's just one of those, let's get through this thing. It's going to get better, and it's better in a few days. This weekend will feel lots warmer than it does right now. If you want a free evaluation from Watts Copy Systems, you can get it by calling 217-352-0428.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign, and Memphis Saturday. Boy, care and caution in this cold, and farther south and towards the I-70 corridor to the I-64 run this morning. Organized icy crystalline snows, and boy, that motherload of Arctic air making its way out of the southern Canadian prairie. 40 to 45 degree below zero temperatures, none too far north of the U.S. border at the current time. Obviously not that cold, but cold enough for the coming days all the way to the Gulf Coast, but we see a nice pattern shift around here. A thaw, milder days ahead come the weekend, more so into next week. 14, the forecast high with a partly sunny sky for the day today and a couple of snow flurries around this morning. And again, later this afternoon, especially from Champaign on southward. Flurries at times tonight, 7 above. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, cold. Flurries in the morning and the afternoon at 16. We'll level off near 0 tomorrow night. Thursday, cold start, partly sunny, 18, close to 0 Friday morning again. Highs up to 23, but then 30 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, 40s Monday and Tuesday. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Underground Solutions. Are you tired of dealing with leaky faucets, basement flooding, bursting or leaking pipes? From plumbing maintenance and repairs to installing new water heaters and sump pumps, our goal is to get you up and running as soon as possible. At Lands Plumbing, we have 24/7 emergency service and a team of highly skilled professionals that will work with you to get the job done right the first time. I'm Troy Lands. You can count on my company because you can count on me.
Well, we talk about pets this hour every week. Gina, is that you?
It is me.
This is,
Can you
folks,
believe
Dr. Todd Lyken's been a veterinarian a very long time, but let's be very honest about who's really been running the show.
we
It's
know.
Gina. Let's be very honest.
There you go.
It's the beautiful woman behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. Gina, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm fine, except our little babies go outside and they tiptoe around and get their business done and says, this is too cold.
Yes.
It's just...
It is too cold.
But
it is.
But your herd probably wants to go out and let's go play, but you can't leave them out very long right now, can you?
Right. You need to be the parent and call it quits if they don't, because they can get frostbite very easily, just as you can too. But they need to be monitored carefully in this cold weather, not be left out. Water freezes. We even have a heated water dish for the feral animals outside. We live out in the country, and we get raccoons and possums, and we have 2 feral cats that we can't even get close to, but we have a heated home for them as well, just in case, because everybody can freeze. There's no water for the animals to drink out there, but your pets, get them in.
I think you're Dr. Doolittle is who you are, Gina. That's awfully nice. Man.
I know, right? They
really
just keep coming at us.
Well, but when the herd is released, those little raccoons must be scrambling. Yay! They're back!
You know what? They stay. They don't get in our fenced area. Our dogs, I think they keep them out somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
No. They're fun to watch. So even the wild animals.
Well,
as
and
well
so
as
many
our
people,
dogs.
they treat the area with salt and things like that to, not slip on the ice. But on those paws, you got to watch it.
Right. There's pet friendly.
Well, I can't imagine if somebody's on the North 40, Gina, and they don't want to come in, do you have to go get them?
Can you hear me?
Todd, where'd you go? What the heck?
This technology is beating the better of me. I think my phone has switched to Gina's earbuds.
That's crazy.
Gotcha.
We're not even sure what that means, but that sounds great. All right, so it's now Dr. Todd Likens. I was just talking to Dr. Doolittle there, feeding the feral people out there. That's animals.
Yeah, I didn't know you were on with her. I would interrupt.
That's so funny. No, it's Dr. Todd. We were just talking about cold, and I'd said, and you can answer this, if you got a puppy out on the North 40 and they don't want to come in and it's 2 degrees, what you got to go get them? What happens?
I've done that before. I've carried them in.
All right, I said, Dad said, come in. Yes. Come here.
No, cookies always work on something like that. There you go. The other thing, the one thing I wanted to bring up today before we go, because I know we're short now, is boredom is bad because they're inside so much right now. I've seen, I saw 2 dog fights yesterday from just house dogs they're restless and they're pent up and things like that, so things can flare. So I'm going to recommend, even indoors, find some activity to chase the laser pointer, or just see if you can figure out something to do to get them some activity. Like, I'm sure Gina's down there with about 20 bones, and everybody's probably chewing bones, and everybody's having all sorts of good activity time.
Okay, another brilliant idea from me. It's ants in your doggy pants. Yeah, indoor. Come on, everybody. Come here. Get the bones over here. Ants in your doggy pants. Okay.
Yes, I agree with that, too. I thought, in my earlier days, we'd turn our little drive-through there on the clinic to an indoor doggy swimming pool for activity.
I think if you honestly, if you had an indoor park, there'd be people like probably us that would pay
Yeah.
Go run inside. For
Absolutely, get some exercise.
Yeah, they'd see your bus come up with your herd, and they'd probably say, "Okay, charge him double."
Right.
Charge him double. No, it's cold, and you got to be aware of it. They kind of know it too, and they're not. Our dogs aren't crazy about it, but in any event, how can people find Dr. Todd Likens, veterinarian?
All right. I think Taylor's still out a little bit. We've had the influenza going through the place.
So sorry.
217-355-5051. But even she gets out of her deathbed every 20 minutes or so and cleans it out. Dedicated employee.
Golly. All right, my friend. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Dr. Todd Likens and his wife, Gina. Pet Pro Madison, Kirby, and Champaign.
And since it's 3, we are worried about people, pipes, and pets.
3 degrees above zero. We'll be back after the news. Another hour to go. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
It was the first U.S.-Russia meeting since the Ukraine invasion. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and they've wrapped it up in Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio led the U.S. delegation.
We're going to appoint a high-level team from our end to help negotiate and work through the end of the conflict in Ukraine in a way that's enduring and acceptable to all the parties engaged.
But no date set yet for President Trump's plan to sit down with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Ukraine was not part of these talks. Its president says he won't accept any peace deal they're not involved in. There's news out of Gaza. Hamas now says it'll increase the number of hostages to be released this weekend in the ceasefire with Israel. 6 are alive, 4 are dead. The anti-Doge protests are spreading to cities across America amid legal challenges aimed at stopping Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency's reach into federal agencies. Musk, sitting next to President Trump, tells Fox's Hannity in an interview that'll run tonight.
I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really did it.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome.
Now, Doge is close to getting access to IRS tax systems, and Fox's Lillian Wu reports.
The acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration has stepped down, according to multiple reports after a clash with billionaire Elon Musk's U.S. Doge service and its attempts to access sensitive government records. Michelle King, who spent decades at the agency before being named acting commissioner last month, is said to have left her position Sunday after the disagreement.
They may feel lucky to be alive. Passengers on that Delta Connection flight from Minneapolis that crash landed in Toronto left upside down, wings torn off and caught fire.
None of the people remarkably on board have life-threatening injuries, according to officials, but 18 people are hurt of the 80 passengers on board, as many are asking questions about the role that wind gusts played in this. Now, there were wind gusts in the area at the time of the crash of about 38 miles an hour.
That's Nate Foy in Toronto. America's listening to Fox News.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
We mentioned Hamas set to release 6 more hostages this week who are alive and 4 dead in that ceasefire deal with Israel. There's still a lot of talk about Gaza's future if the war does indeed end. Egypt has a proposal to counter the one President Trump touts that Arab leaders reject.
Egypt's state-run newspaper says the plan calls for establishing secure areas within Gaza where Palestinians can live initially while Egyptian and international construction firms redo its infrastructure. Reports say it would create a Palestinian administration that is not aligned aligned with either Hamas or the Palestinian Authority to run the Gaza Strip and oversee reconstruction efforts. The proposal follows an international uproar over President Trump's call for the removal of some 2 million Palestinians from Gaza, saying the U.S. would take over the Strip and rebuild it into a Riviera of the Middle East. Under his proposal, Palestinians would not be allowed back. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Now to Israel's ceasefire with Hezbollah. Some Israeli soldiers did withdraw from Lebanon today, but not all. There are still Israeli forces in 5 locations. Despite today's deadline for a full withdrawal, Lebanese officials call that a violation and occupation. A controversy simmers around New York City Mayor Eric Adams. 4 of his deputies resigned,
throwing the city administration into further turmoil. In light of that, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement Monday night she's considering removing fellow Democrat Mayor Eric Adams from office. GOP Councilwoman Vicky Palladino tells Fox News,
give me one good reason, and I want to hear it from their mouths. Why? Because Kathy Hochul says so, or the Democrats here say so? They're eating their own.
The deputy mayors resigned following the mayor's decision to cooperate with ICE agents and the Justice Department's actions to dismiss corruption charges against him. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising before the opening bell after a long holiday weekend. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Well, the state of Illinois mourning the loss of a Glenview police officer. According to local police, Officer Robert Frick was killed in a crash on his way to work at around 4 Sunday morning. Officer Frick had been with the department since 2007. He was recently honored for saving a fellow officer while on duty last summer. Prayers go out to the officer's family. Thanks for his service. Well, Urbana police taking measures to curb domestic violence in the wake of a recent shooting of a young boy. A week ago, 7-year-old DJ Wicks killed in a shootout between his father and another man who was killed. Police chief says they propose a domestic violence response unit combining law enforcement, social services, and healthcare providers. Shamario Brown's been found guilty of attempted murder in connection with the 2022 shooting of an elderly couple in Champaign. Brown convicted on 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm. That's what's happening. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Okay, meteorologist Greg Solier, weather ace. So did you see that video of the Toronto Delta, the Delta Airlines plane?
Yeah, kind of flipped over. And
if you have
amazing
it just said 40 mile an hour gusts.
So yeah, 40 mile an hour gusts, and I thought the tires hit the runway a little quick and maybe just slightly tilted right. Can a wind gust a 40 flip an airplane? Maybe. I don't know.
When I first heard that, it's like, well, you've gotten planes in before like that. And I just think, well, my understanding is that it was not a completely, filled plane. So first, then you've got to think, well, is there, weight issues in that, more of a crosswind that was going on? And it looked like there had been some snow had accumulated out there. So it's kind of a tough call, but you normally don't shut things down. You can realign an approach, my understanding, depending on traffic and all that, to be more direct into the wind. That's more like a braking scenario into the plane. You can tilt the flaps accordingly. So, but to get it flipped over, it almost seems like it was just sort of a freak thing. The plane wasn't maybe loaded up completely. It just happened like a perfect scenario to get that thing to flip on over. That's my only, assessment based on meteorology, based on weather and how that would happen. But generally speaking, a couple of gusts, something like that in that particular setup would be okay. I'm thinking. I'm not a pilot,
we land in windy, right? I mean, so I think don't we take off against the wind and land against the wind?
I believe you go into the wind. It helps with braking coming down on descent and on ascent as well.
That's why
it provides like a lifting mechanism.
That's why they have so many runways at different directions.
Exactly.
So it might have been a freak wind thing. I don't know, but
that's my.
I can't remember ever seeing a flipped airplane. And they said they were hanging from the ceiling like bats because they had hopefully belts on.
All strapped in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so then we were trying to figure out, okay, so if I'm upside down, the seat in front of me is still there, could I grab my belt with one hand, the seat the other, and hold onto the belt like a rope and kind of jump the final, 5 feet or something? It'd be 4 feet. Because if you raise your hand in a fuselage, it's not very far to the ceiling.
Right.
So it's not a big drop, but it's...
Everybody popping out of this plane, though, in this rescue effort, they all look, pretty fit. I'm just thinking about how I would look if I'm hanging upside down, and I wouldn't be that limber, and I'd be freaking out. I'm just so surprised 80 people are coming out of that Delta flight.
That's a miracle.
Toronto. Wow.
Nobody died. That's unbelievable with the way that thing looked.
There's got to be some. I would have thought that there might have been some video, or maybe that's still being held on. Just general video of the whole airfield for safety and all that kind of stuff. So I would have thought that might be coming out soon.
Well, we've seen it. It shows a perfect picture of the thing landing.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. And to me, it hits the right wheel, just a smidge hard, and it looks like the left wing is lifted just a little bit.
Well, and to me, weight
but coming in, it looks level.
Weight might have been a factor, like you were, calling that in play there, Greg. But 80 people on board, but it said 70 to 76 seats.
Yeah, they said
in
it's
that
full.
report.
The report was full, okay, because I had heard it was not full.
Okay.
So I'm kind of wondering, how hard he hit, kind of a right-left scenario with almost a perfect timing on that wind gust. That's my only kind of unscientific guess. And again, I'm not we'll know some aviation meteorology, but I'm certainly not a pilot.
Well,
so far from an expert.
They'll investigate, of course, and figure out exactly what happened. But it's a miracle that nobody died. That's
Seems like we've had a rash of stuff like that going on lately. Just in one reason or another.
I think a couple of smaller planes, and then of course the Black Hawk at Reagan against the same CJ. Model airplane, by the way, both of these. Check your weather now. Meteorologist Greg Soyer, brought to you by Kurt Lenschow, State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, Kurt Lenschow and State Farm are there. Well, it's cold here and going to be like that pretty much the rest of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, but then we'll moderate nicely over the weekend. Signs of a pattern shift. It is going to be a brief one, not long lasting around here, but there may be a hint of early spring in the air at some point, early to mid next week. And again, it's tough to get these long-term, moderations of temperatures, milder air masses, warmer air masses to stick when we've got this persistent northwest to southeast upper level wind flow. It just takes the slightest little wiggle in the steering currents and you're off to the races with more cold air. And the longer range weather maps and charts late in the month and the beginning part of March, certainly not done with intrusions of cold air nor snow as well. So we may roll into meteorological spring, you think, but no, there's still a lot of winter on the maps and charts to come our way here in the weeks to come. And it's the feel of that this morning. 3 at Willard and Savoy right now, 2 at Rantoul. Factor in that north wind at 10 miles per hour, wind chills right around 10 to 15 below. And those are actual air temperatures over the northwestern end of the state and even colder as you venture out northwest. We'll head towards an afternoon high today, topping out across the area at about 14 degrees. Some flurry activity south of Champaign this morning, a partly sunny sky. Flurries back in tonight, 7 above. Tomorrow, flurries tomorrow morning. Maybe a snow shower in the afternoon again here on southward especially, and a high near 16. Close to 0 tomorrow night, a Thursday high of 18 with a partly sunny sky. Close to 0 Friday morning, but then we moderate to 23 there, up around freezing on Saturday, up past freezing on Sunday, and into the 40s we go briefly Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Stephen J. Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
All right, Greg, thank you. ESPN 93.5. All right, so you said the pilot said what? We're going to burn a little fuel on the runway?
Oh,
and so we can't take off because we have too much fuel.
Right. And
then
there was
the
a weight issue.
Well, then the question comes to what's too much information?
Right. All the pilot or all the passengers, this is my flight, on my vacation to Palm Springs. And I was thinking, we're all looking at each other like, what? There's too much weight.
I thought you filled her up. I go to the gas station and fill up my car. I guess you don't want to fill up the plane necessarily.
Get too much fuel.
Well, I don't know.
And then the pilot suggested, just burn it off on the runway. And we're like revving it up.
Yeah.
Before you go.
No, you would rev it up to burn it, then go.
Right.
So you got to get the weight right.
And then, because he told us that, we weren't, too suspicious when he was, we could smell fuel in the plane.
Okay,
so many aviation issues these days. I just feel like we're heightened awareness and we're all nervous as passengers.
So if it's a CRJ 900, it holds 90.
Okay.
So it was not full, but nearly full.
Okay, we're just going off some of the things that we're seeing, just little blips on the screen.
This is Toronto. The airplane flipped.
Mm-hmm.
It landed in fire. Nobody died. I remember one time when Janet and I were first married, we were going to New Orleans on Christmas Day because all the families in New Orleans, mom and dad were with us, and we're on a TWA from Champaign to Peoria. Okay. And then you go Peoria, New Orleans. It was just TWA, long time ago.
All right.
A long time ago, 40 years. So we're there, and I guess under the auspices of, I don't need to know that, the pilot actually came on when we were flying in Peoria. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's your pilot. We're going to fly by the tower to see if our landing gear is opened. And you go, hold on. I didn't hear that. Did you say
you're not sure if our landing gear's down?
You're not sure the landing gear's down? Well, hold on. How do you know?
So guys at the tower are getting the binoculars out to double check.
Yeah, we're going to buzz the tower.
Okay.
And I don't know if the thing's locked.
Right.
I don't even know if the tire has air in it. Okay.
Wow.
So we're sitting there, and we landed that airplane. Thank you, Lord. And there were all the people in the silver suits and all the fire trucks. They were expecting a crash.
Oh, man.
And it's just one of those, okay, I've never heard any humans say that to me.
And I was surprised. Our pilot was, we got too much fuel. We got a new guy, filled things up a little too much.
And top it off, hey? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to burn it off. I was like, what?
I think you just say, wake me up when we get there.
And this is like 5:36 in the morning that we're talking. And, there must have been 8 or 10 people from Parkland that were going to meetings in D.C. and they had a connection. And, you don't
have time.
Our friend Stephanie Stewart was sitting on that plane, and we were talking in the airport, and she's like, I think we got 8 minutes to make it to the next flight. We've got to hustle.
Well, listen, American makes these connections. Champaign, CMI to ORD is, I think it's 45 minutes.
Yep.
But it's a ways to go.
That's right.
And then if you're late, they know you're coming.
That's right.
They should hold the plane.
And see, what I said is, Steph, you want me to stand up and tell everybody to just wait for the people who have connections to get off? Like, I had 2 hours in a layover.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But generally,
let everybody go.
All people surround that door, and
they're rude.
Dare not go ahead of me.
Exactly.
I have a 7-hour layover. Don't go in front of me. All right, Brad Underwood says Merez is out.
Merez Johnson is out and will not play for a good bit. He broke his wrist. A fall elite block shot that he made. Fell. He hit the floor pretty hard and was tough enough to bounce up and just say tape it. That impacted a couple of his close misses at the rim as well late in the game. He's in a cast and no timeline to that at this point. We'll strap it up and have to move forward with
mouth. That's all you can do. And so tonight at Wisconsin, best offense in the Big Ten. Very, very good basketball team. Beat Purdue at Purdue by 10. So, yeah, kind of feels like a buzzsaw, kind of.
Yeah.
And then we go to Duke. New York to play Duke.
Yes, that's right.
That's Saturday, and Duke is totally a national champion contender. So, hey, let's go. Dial it up. We're good. We got a deep bench. Let's just play hard. Get the loose balls. Let's go.
That game against Duke is in New York on Saturday the 22nd on Fox.
But listen,
7.
you could. It's just been a really unbelievable. After Oregon, we beat Washington barely, and then it's just cascaded to the point of injury, sickness, injury.
Yep.
Sickness.
Yep.
Wow. Injury.
Right,
I mean, what are you going to do? Nothing. You just play through it and do the best you can. Let's go.
That's right. So, our Illinois women ranked number 25 now with their 8-game winning streak. They are 21-5 and 11-4 in the conference. So, congratulations to them. Richard Itch Jones, passing away at the age of 87, just turned that a few days ago. Had an illness for 3 years and 15 seasons with the Illini. It looks like 474 victories. Good friends with Coach Dan Hartleb. So, praying for him and Gina as his friend Itch Jones had passed away. And you had so many encounters with
he's
him.
great, man. I loved Itch. Everybody knew him, too. And they again, I can't remember Itch Jones without a smile, laughing. Just a really good human, great, just really strong faith. Terrific guy.
When it comes to hockey, Sweden over USA 2-1. So we've got a rematch with Canada. And the first time we met each other, we had 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of play. Players are saying this is the most intense game of their career, and it's coming up on Thursday.
I mean, you might want to turn that one on.
I know. I'm fascinated
because
with this.
That's a real thing.
Because Canada was booing during our national anthem. Who does that?
I think you circle up, you sing Kumbaya, and you do a little duck, duck, goose, goose. Everybody loves duck, duck, goose. Everybody. Maybe that's a good way to approach this thing.
All righty.
But chances are I would predict physical. Mm-hmm. That's just a wild guess. Okay, because I think they're kind of angry at each other. So check your weather. Fox Business Minute coming up.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. It is that look and feel of midwinter time over a wide and expansive area of the Great Plains, and here in our particular part of the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois as well, ranging from a few snow flurries, organized snows down to the south of us as expected, and a bite to the air this morning. Cold sticks around here the better part of the remainder of the work week. Moderation over the weekend, and a nice thaw expected around here by the back end of the weekend and a good part of next week as well. A few flurries around this morning again later on today. Partly sunny skies, cold weather at 14, a bit of a gusty north-northeasterly wind, a couple of flurries at times tonight, very cold, 7 above. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, cold, a few flurries both morning and maybe a snow shower in the afternoon, up to 16. We'll level off near 2 above for tomorrow night, and a very cold start to the day on Thursday, becoming partly sunny, 18. We'll moderate to 23 on Friday, but near 0 in the morning there, 30 Saturday, 40 Sunday, into the 40s next Monday and Tuesday. For Steve H.A. Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's a mixed report on manufacturing from the New York Federal Reserve. It says factory business recovered sharply this month in New York State. However, the Fed is concerned about inflation and is skeptical there will be lower interest rates this year. Intel shares are up 5%. The Wall Street Journal says Broadcom and Taiwan Semiconductor are independently interested in parts of Intel's business. Broadcom is said to be looking at Intel's chip design, TSMC at Intel's chip manufacturing. A merger in the energy business is confirmed this morning. Diamondback Energy is buying some subsidiaries of Double Eagle, and GameStop shares are up about 1%. It's selling some of its international operations, business in France and Canada. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
From around the world,
Trey Yingst joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel.
to Washington,
I'm Mike Emanuel.
to your own backyard. If the story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose because you do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you're looking for your next vehicle, be sure to stop at Sarah Champagne and listen to Merez.
Hi, I'm Merez Johnson Jr., power forward for the University of Illinois basketball team. The only place you should shop for your next vehicle is Sarah Champagne, home of Honda, BMW, Buick GMC, and Subaru. Why? Because they treat you like family every time. Take it from me, Merez Johnson Jr. Sarah Champagne will be the last dealership you will ever work with.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA champagne.com.
Tim Culver, owner and president of Classic Plumbing and Air.
A plumber is a person that is well-rounded. They have education, they have experience, and they are versed in more than only one phase of plumbing. A plumber is someone that has experience in all three phases, and they understand how all three of these plumbing aspects work together as well.
Was in the heating and air conditioning business for approximately 30 years and then retired in 2021. So I came out of retirement because I'm very big on taking care of our local community. The most satisfying part of my job is when I know that I've done the right thing for the customer, taking care of the customer's happy, and when I walk out the door that I'm not afraid to put a sign out in front of their house that says, "This job was done by Chuck Thompson, Classic Plumbing and Air."
Visit them at classicplum.com.
I'm getting a phone call from Delaware. Tell the former president I'll get back to him.
Okay.
Do you get those?
I get calls from everywhere, and I never take them because I always think the person, if they really know me, will leave a message, and I'll call them back.
Yeah, same. And you get them like Gifford, and it's not Gifford.
Right.
So they can mask where it's coming from, right? Yeah.
And then if you do answer because you're thinking, oh, what if it's Donnie and Gifford? Or something.
Yeah.
Then
I got Donnie's number though. So.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I always second guess and think, I hadn't put his name in yet, and then they know it's an active number, right? So then you get the pesky.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fraudulent calls even more.
No, it's hard to. Yeah, but again, we don't generally answer. If you don't recognize them, most people don't think answer them.
Right.
It's just kind of how that works. But
I was talking with my friend Becky Leibach about the daddy-daughter dance coming up at the high school of St. Thomas More. Lots of dads going to be coming in on Friday, and it's $30 a dad, unlimited daughters.
Well, there you go.
I think that's great. A lot of Catholic schools come out and support the post-prom event. This is the way to supplement that post-prom party for the high school of St. Thomas More.
They still do post-prom, huh?
Yes, they do.
They do all night?
Most people wrap up by 2,
okay.
And it's just, 11 to 2 window where they just give kids various options and bounce houses.
But you want to keep them in.
That's right.
That's the goal,
That's
is
the
to
idea.
keep them here, yeah.
And so then also we have All Out Acapella coming to Unity's auditorium. And because I'm busy DJing the daddy-daughter dance after, 13, 14 years of hosting this thing, I am passing the microphone to Kevin Polonis, the Unity Music Booster president.
You're passing the microphone?
How about that, Steve? I'm saying no.
Are you feverish? What is?
I thought about making some cue cards about how I usually run things, the welcome, and then the things that you try to get in, because Unity will be doing, Littlest Mermaid coming up later in the spring, and blah, blah, blah. Little Unity Music Booster thing. You know what? It'll be fine.
There you go.
Just let it go, like in Frozen.
Don't look back.
Exactly.
We have a Stever offer. It's a good one. It's from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And you will never, ever get $500 off an appliance except on this program, because nobody else in the world is doing this. So if you're not a member of our very exclusive club with thousands of you in, you can go to gostever.com and join, and then text us DVD or Dick Van Dyke, whatever you want, at 217-359-2255, and let us know you're interested in getting $500 off an appliance purchase at Dick Van Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
I think Diane, I can speak for Diane, we love our new dishwashers.
Yes, we do.
We have that. We did not get a Stever, darn it, but we bought them in the year-end sale.
Yes.
And I'm telling you what.
And actually, they're the President's Day sales going on now.
Oh.
I went to appliance-world.com to look at some options. You never know. And I feel like in your man cave or garage or basement or something, if you stored up a bunch of meat that was on sale.
Yeah.
And how are eggs? Are eggs high these days?
Yeah,
here?
because of the bird flu.
I know.
And they're blaming Trump, and it was actually Joe Biden that ordered the killing of millions of chickens.
Right.
So, yeah, it's high because bird flu.
But see, in Palm Springs, we got some eggs, and we were thinking, it's going to be $9 for a dozen. It was like $3.90.
Oh, well, they're $5 here.
Is that right?
$5.
Okay. So I thought $4 in Southern California.
Limit 2. I mean, you can't buy very many.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean, you just you eat less eggs till the chickens grow up. You get these chickens, and from the little yellow, cute little chicks, it's 6 months and they're laying eggs.
Oh, really?
It goes pretty quick, yeah.
Okay. Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World at 1510 North Neal Street in Champaign, right off I-74.
Yep. And text in DVD if you're interested in this extraordinary offer, $500 off. And you might ask your significant other. Sometimes that happens. People jump in something and they didn't get clearance.
True.
So check, because you have to ask.
Right. And you're, working together on these improvements and stuff.
Yep. All right, we're going to break for the news. Another segment here to go. The drive this afternoon. How will Illinois do against Wisconsin tonight? We are only 3.5-point underdogs without Merez Johnson Jr., the impact he's had over the last 10 games.
6'9", our Illinois freshman forward, definitely out. I was just amazed after that hard fall that we saw him back in the game.
Well, he went back to the bench and said, tape it up.
Right.
And he got back in.
But I guess that's adrenaline and all that.
I guess I bet it hurt like heck when everything kind of calmed down. But yeah, went and got x-rays and found out it was broken. So Merez Johnson Jr., I can't imagine. They say indefinitely, leaving the window open. I don't know how he could possibly contribute to this team. Maybe in a tournament game he comes in, gets a few rebounds.
Tiny hairline fracture.
Maybe, but they don't know how quickly things like that heal based on the break. Mm-hmm. But it's a broken wrist, so one would think that would hurt. I don't even know if it's right or left, but Brad had mentioned it affected a couple of shots. Mm-hmm. So I presume it was the right hand, which is even worse, his shooting hand. He got so much better at free throws, and he is a great young man. We have these commercials running for Ben Quattrone over at Sarah Champagne, and I recorded that with him, and he's just not only ginormous, but terrific, sweet kid. Good man.
I really got a selfie with him when I saw him at the football game, and
you just tend to do that. I don't generally. I met Thomas Isevich, but I don't think, hey, let's get a selfie. I don't think that.
Okay.
But it's cool. You post them. I think it's cool, but I just think, I met him. I didn't do that.
Right.
But yeah,
always had a unique look with those ponytails that he's going.
No,
with.
he is a cool man, a cool dude.
Only 19.
He turned 19 because he was 18 when I talked to him.
Man.
Anyway, okay, we'll see how we do tonight in Madison. I don't certainly expect us to win. So that's probably a good way to go into a ball game as far as a fan, so you're not massively disappointed.
We'll probably see Ben Hummerkaus play a little more.
He always plays, starts.
Yeah.
He plays a lot. You're going to see Trey White.
Okay.
And you're going to see Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. You're going to see both of them more tonight. You need them. And maybe even Kerry Booth. We'll be back.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. Been talks about ending the war in Ukraine with Russian but not Ukrainian diplomats in Saudi Arabia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
We're going to appoint a high-level team from our end to help negotiate and work through the end of the conflict in Ukraine in a way that's enduring and acceptable to all the parties engaged.
He says there will need to be concessions from all sides. The top Social Security official resigns.
The acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration has stepped down, according to multiple reports after a clash with billionaire Elon Musk's U.S. Doge service and its attempts to access sensitive government records. Michelle King, who spent decades at the agency before being named acting commissioner last month, is said to have left her position Sunday after the disagreement.
Fox's Lillian Wu, the Treasury Department's highest-ranking civil servant, resigned last month under similar circumstances. America's listening to Fox News.
Illinois basketball star Merez Johnson on needing some help from Sarah Champagne and Ben Quattrone.
I was going back home for a weekend and I was going to be downtown. I text Ben, can I get a different car, go to Chicago? And I got something small, a nice Buick, something that was nice. I got my car back when I came. It was quick. Ben and Sarah Champagne took care of me.
And Sarah Champagne would do that for you, too. Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA Champagne.com.
The Nate Evans Group, eXp Realty. So you got an office right across from the fire station in downtown Mahomet.
Yep.
And that Nate Evans Group has some great energy when you walk in that building, because you guys are moving and shaking. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think that was the culture we were looking for. We wanted to be a younger demographic of vibrant agents and brokers. We wanted to make sure that we brought that energy on our listing consults and things like that. It's not fun to go to work in a stale environment, and we want to create the idea that we can still have fun, have a real edgy feel to our marketing with a still professional approach with something that's taken so serious.
239-7113 is the number for Nate Evans, or you can go online to nateevansgroup.com. I know that if I want to sell my home, Nate Evans is the man.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to the nateevansgroup.com.
Here's a look at local news. Well, Urbana police taking measures to curb domestic violence in the wake of a recent shooting of a young boy. A week ago, 7-year-old DJ Wicks killed in a shootout between his father and another man who was killed. Police chief says they propose a domestic violence response unit combining law enforcement, social services, and healthcare providers. Shamario Brown's been found guilty of attempted murder in connection with the 2022 shooting of an elderly couple in Champaign. Brown convicted on 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm. Well, the state of Illinois mourning the loss of a Glenview police officer. According to local police, Officer Robert Frick was killed in a crash on his way to work at around 4 Sunday morning. Officer Frick had been with the department since 2007. He was recently honored for saving a fellow officer while on duty last summer. Prayers go out to the officer's family. Thanks for his service. That's what's happening. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, well, the forecast, I think, fairly simple. It's just super cold. And it's probably not even super cold. Super cold would be minus 11.
Right.
It's only, what, 3 above?
Right.
Okay.
But in one of the Dakotas, I think it was 41 below zero today.
That's where you get your plug or something. You can't drive diesel in that for sure.
Right.
Gels up. But, I mean, minus 41, I don't know if you could drive a car. Do batteries hold up at minus 41? That's North Dakota. Lovely state.
Right.
Wow. That's a little too nippy. Not that bad here.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois. Champaign and Van Saturday. Boy, care and caution in this cold. And farther south and towards the I-70 corridor to the I-64 run this morning. Organized icy crystalline snows. And boy, that motherload of Arctic air making its way out of the southern Canadian prairie. 40 to 45 degree below zero temperatures. None too far north of the U.S. border at the current time. Obviously not that cold, but cold enough in the coming days all the way to the Gulf Coast. But we see a nice pattern shift around here. A thaw, milder days ahead come the weekend, more so into next week. 14, the forecast high with a partly sunny sky for the day today and a couple of snow flurries around this morning. And again, later this afternoon, especially from Champaign on southward. Flurries at times tonight, 7 above. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, cold. Flurries in the morning and the afternoon at 16. We'll level off near 0 tomorrow night. Thursday, cold start, partly sunny, 18. Close to 0 Friday morning again. Highs up to 23, but then 30 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, 40s Monday and Tuesday. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
And don't forget, we carry the Chicago Bears in WQQB. I'm just getting pumped for the season because the Bears, of course, are going to the Super Bowl now that they have Ben Johnson, their head coach.
Yes.
Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator.
The Bears.
Here they go with Caleb Williams. And the Bears, I'm sure, will make the playoffs because we don't pick up teams that don't.
Right. Remember when we first got the St. Louis Cardinals? Wasn't that their World Series?
World Series, first year we had them.
I love that.
We carried the Chicago Cubs.
2011 then?
Yeah, 2011 for the Cardinals. 2016 for the Cubs because we carried them.
Yeah.
So it's obviously because we've had them that they both won World Series, and now we're waiting. And my deal isn't that long, so we got to get that done. So my deal with the Bears is let's give it a try. And I know they're TV events, but sometimes you drive it around on Sunday, you want to keep up, or maybe you're harvesting. So the Bears will be on WQQB once again, year number 2 coming up, and it will be a banner year, my friends.
Well, and I'm talking with people who want to get messages in some of our MLB coverage, and we've got ESPN 93.5, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals, and US 105.9, your home for the Chicago Cubs.
Listen, it's a wide open division. There's no doubt about it. And my son-in-law, Jacob Hurtubise, is part of the Cincinnati Reds. And Terry Francona.
Spring training now, right?
In Arizona. Terry Francona, the World Series, 2-time World Series championship manager, is now the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, came out of retirement for this and gave a fiery speech yesterday in Goodyear, Arizona.
Okay.
I have not gotten complete details, but I'm sure I'll hear. Apparently very encouraging, but very let's go get it. And so that's cool. But you know what about the Cubs? I think the Cubs are going to be a player for sure.
And they're in Mesa, Arizona training?
Yeah, they're in Mesa, not far, probably an hour from Goodyear.
Okay.
They all kind of are out there. But I think the Cardinals, honestly, this is a pretty good way to go into the year because nobody thinks they're going to do anything. So that's how, blessed.
Yeah.
The late, great Bill Melberg, blessed are they that expect nothing, for they shall never be disappointed. So we're not expecting a darn thing out of the Cardinals. Right. Keep in mind, the Cardinals still have Nolan Arenado is still at third base. Sonny Gray is still day one pitcher. Miles Michaelis, we got a pretty good older pitching staff. I'm just saying, we don't expect much. So if they flounder, that's what I told you. And if they don't, you're going, well, what's going on?
Right.
And here's what's going to happen in St. Louis. If they start winning, the people will come. If they flounder, like many expect, nobody will go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that works. Particularly Cardinal fans.
And Cardinal team on the promotions and things like that, it's always really good. I know when we took our, fans and listeners on the bus and we had that sweet experience, they were giving out those tumblers that were so cool. And they had Stan Musial being honored. So it was a Stanley tumbler. And it's a cool collectible item.
No, really, we find them on eBay. I mean, people.
That's right.
Been at the ballpark where people outside are having $5 if you give up your. And they're worth far more than that. Anyway, Cardinals are all about that, but they're also about winning.
Yeah,
and that's been not so good. I mean, Cardinals had a winning record last year. Had a really bad 71-91 kind of a record the year before. So. Change of the guard also in St. Louis. Anyway, baseball and some 3 teams now. We got Bears on football and Cubs and Cardinals again as our baseball guys. So looking forward to all of that. And just the fact that we're headed toward the warmer skies feels pretty good. Okay, we talked about the banner stuff yesterday. You were off, so maybe you missed it. But the upside down banner for Terrence Shannon, we talked at length about that yesterday. And there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It was a mistake, but it was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And it did matter. I think it did matter. Some people thought, well, whatever. And I said, well, this is a big moment for the family, a big moment to honor a really, really good basketball player in Terrence Shannon. And it was a shame, but man, oh man, I just don't know. Except make sure it never happens again.
Just so awkward.
Yeah, it was a tough one. But
Tim Sinclair wasn't the announcer at the game; it was Orion. So it wasn't. I was thinking if I was the announcer, what would I?
I don't think you go off script because you could make things worse.
You're right.
You don't joke about it. I don't think.
I mean, I wouldn't have joked, but
well, I mean, if I was Stevie J, might have said, "Hey, well, Terrence, you turned the program upside down." That wasn't my place to say that.
Right.
You were awesome, but you don't do that. You stay with whatever Josh Whitman says.
Mm-hmm.
He was running that orchestra, and he was everybody would be mad,
apologetic
apologetic in public, but I'm sure very upset that a mistake like that could happen. Yeah. So anyway, off we go, and
just so many people on social media sharing all that.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. Next, let's move on. Okay. Nothing you can do.
Yep.
It's just you can lament over it, and you always probably remember it. And it'll mean more to some than others than if it happened. But Illinois just doesn't have that happen to that extent where it's national.
Yep.
Anyway,
but again, in today's 24-hour news cycle world, it was just a minute.
That's what do you say? Ha ha. That's what the other teams are saying.
Right.
Okay. Well, at least we got guys we can banner.
Yeah.
Right? Some schools don't have guys
That's
they can
right.
banner. We got a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll see. 217-359-2255 if you're interested in texting in this morning. And again, Dick Van Dyke's our Stever, the program where I give you money. I'm giving $500 toward an appliance.
DVD is what you text in, 359-2255.
Okay, and we talked also about the runway incident, the upside-down Delta Airlines in Toronto that happened yesterday. And it was rather shocking because on approach, it looked really good, but it was really windy with 40-mile-an-hour winds, and they'll figure out whatever their NTSB up there is. They have their own airline thing. And we did talk about Canada and America playing in hockey on Thursday because if you saw anything, you probably saw clips of guys before the doggone match starts. You throw down the gloves, and they just start beating each other in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going, okay, so the referees look like boxing referees. They just let them go. They don't try and prevent it, but when they get on the ice and somebody does a wrestling takedown, then they jump on each one. They have referees jumping on each people.
Oh, boy.
So they stop them, and that's it. And then till the next 5 minutes, and there's another one. So it's just hockey, man, I guess. I'm not into the culture of hockey very deep. And Democrats are very happy. The ones that voted for Trump are happy of what's been happening and the rapid-fire change. And all the executive orders and everything they're trying to do, everything's being challenged in court. We're pretty sure that Donald Trump will win on nearly every one of them. Maybe not everyone, but that's what people wanted is a change. And I remember 2015 coming out. I'm so tired of the boys' club, essentially. Some women, but mostly boys' club. And they're all winking at each other, Republican and Democrat. And we were tired of it because stuff wasn't working. Taxes go up. We waste money that nobody knows about. That's a monolith of problems. So here comes Donald Trump saying, this is my last 4 years. We're looking at this. I said I'd drain the swamp. We're draining the swamp. And sometimes you're going to get rid of good people when you get rid of the bad people. Totally is going to happen. Or really good people that we don't want to fire are getting fired. And maybe they can reapply, or I don't know. But I think they're talking about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to get people that leak information and stuff, you want them out of the government. But it's impossible to get them all or to not fire the wrong people. But we have got to do something. The urgency is there with a $36 trillion deficit. And again, it's something we better address. And if somebody like Elon Musk comes in and says, I'm willing to look at it, how does he even have time to do that if he's
because of all these clusters of teams?
Well, he's got a cluster of teams, but how do you organize that properly and appropriately? And he probably has a ton within his organizations that have brilliant, and they were complaining they're only 19 or 20. Well, there's guys 19 and 20 playing in the NBA. Are they too young?
Right.
I mean, it just depends who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be fully matured, but you could be a genius savant, kind of a, wow, guys with numbers, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're uncovering at least 50 to 100 billion already, I think that's fantastic. And people are complaining more about the process than the prospect of fraud. We ought to be getting after the fraud and saying, well, how does that happen? We've been wasting this for 50 years and more.
Right.
Let's at least spend it properly. Why is that so egregious? It's because who's doing it. How dare he? Look at this. You got to go after the bad stuff. And if you don't want to do it, then I think you're in the minority. Most people think it's a pretty good idea to not waste money. Wow.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. 8:45. You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose because you do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
You know ABC Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated for over 50 years. And you know they help you with your HVAC issues any time of the day or night. But did you know now through March 31st, you can save up to $500 off a complete Amana heating and air system? That's right. ABC Heating and Air Conditioning is offering a special until the end of March where you can save up to $500 off a complete Amana system. Call Gina at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning for complete details or visit abcheatingandac.com.
All right, Illinois had obviously the flu that ran through the team, but it just lasted longer, I think, than people expected and kind of drifted around, and another guy would get it, and 2 weeks later somebody, I mean, just unbelievable. Dre Gribb's Longhorn is very much healthy now, and Brad loves him.
Yeah, Dre gives us stuff, both ends of the court, especially on the defensive side. He's a pest on the ball. He doesn't lay on screens. I think, his ability to get in the paint downhill, helps us at times. And the most important thing with Dre is I love his spirit. I love his attitude. And we needed that in that game. And his toughness and resilience is something that we can use.
I think we'll have a chance if the ball goes in. Is that profound? If the ball goes in the game of basketball, you'll do better. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a really good night. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to be just as aggressive as can be to even have a chance of beating a very good Wisconsin team. But
number 11 in the new poll.
We lost probably our best rebounder.
Yep, Morez Johnson Jr. with his broken wrist
I think
out
though,
indefinitely.
You know, they say that rebounding is desire. If we have the desire to get all these people to go get the ball, as Brad says, sometimes you just have to go get the ball. So I can't imagine in practice, yes, coach, I'll go get the ball. Okay. Anyway, I don't expect a win, but hopefully play better and play well and make some shots. And if we make some shots, who knows?
And when it comes to the Big Ten in the AP polls, Wisconsin is at number 11 as the top team in the Big Ten. Then 12 for Michigan and jumped up 8 spots. Sliding down was number 13 Purdue, number 14 Michigan State, who we played on Saturday. And after that big two-handed rebound, Morez Johnson Jr. breaking his wrist.
But it was a two-handed
block.
It
That
was extraordinary to see that.
Right.
Boy, did he fall hard.
He was right in my area, and when I saw that grimace, I was like, man.
Oh, dear.
And, just went to get it taped up and actually played a little
on a
more.
broken wrist, yep. Man.
Number 20, Maryland. Illinois women with their 8-game winning streak at 21-5 on the season, 11-4 in the Big Ten. Their 5th time in the rankings at number 25. Now, Wisconsin is 20-5, 10-4 in the Big Ten. We are 17-9. 9-7 in the Big Ten. Another trending story in Illini Nation is Richard Itch Jones passing away at the age of 87. His birthday a few days ago. Had an illness for 3 years, even though when they diagnosed that, they said 7 months to live. 15 seasons with Illinois and at SIU, actually working with Dan Hartlib, who had so many kind things to say about being an outstanding father, husband, brother, coach, a second father to me, a lifelong baseball and life mentor. The things we do in the Illinois program today on and off the field are based on fundamentals and values that Itch taught and instilled in me. His loving wife, Sue, of 62 years. His children are listed here, all surrounding him in Gore, Oklahoma, when he passed away yesterday.
Great man. We'll miss Itch. All right, we'll check your weather here coming up.
At F&B Wealth Management, it's not just about numbers, it's about people and communities. Hi, I'm Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank and F&B Wealth Management. Our team is united by a shared passion for helping you achieve your financial goals. We are equipped and eager to work together to craft personalized financial solutions just for you, including retirement planning, risk management through life insurance, long-term care insurance planning, and investment advisory services. Together, we will celebrate milestones, navigate life's transitions, and build a financial future that reflects your values. Experience the difference of a team that truly cares. Visit investwithfnb.com to learn more about dedicated advisors and start your journey toward a financial confidence today.
F&B Wealth Management is a division of Fisher National Bank. F&B securities are not insured by the FDIC, not a deposit or other obligation of or guaranteed by the depository institution, subject to investment risks, including possible loss of the principal amount invested. Securities, insurance, and investment advisory services are offered through Midwestern Securities Trading Company, LLC, MSTC, member FINRA, SIPC. MSTC and F&B are not affiliated.
F&B Wealth Management, supporting exceptional communities full of exceptional people.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. It is that look and feel of midwinter time over a wide and expansive area of the Great Plains, and here in our particular part of the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois as well, ranging from a few snow flurries, organized snows down to the south of us as expected, and a bite to the air this morning. Cold sticks around here the better part of the remainder of the work week. Moderation over the weekend, and a nice thaw expected around here by the back end of the weekend and a good part of next week as well. A few flurries around this morning again later on today. Partly sunny skies, cold weather at 14, a bit of a gusty north-northeasterly wind, a couple of flurries at times tonight, very cold, 7 above. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, cold, a few flurries both morning and maybe a snow shower in the afternoon, up to 16. We'll level off near 2 above for tomorrow night, and a very cold start to the day on Thursday, becoming partly sunny, 18. We'll moderate to 23 on Friday, but near 0 in the morning there, 30 Saturday, 40 Sunday, into the 40s next Monday and Tuesday. For Steve J. Broadcasting, I'm Peter Olchis, Greg Solgate.
Any texts get to before we're done here? 217-359-2255.
I was just assessing some of the DVDs coming in, which is great.
Yeah.
359-2255. John said usually the people who are opposing overturning of stones are the ones who hid something under the stones.
I agree.
When it comes to our Illini, Steve, if we shoot 43s, we don't win.
I agree, except if you make 20. we win if you make 23. So, okay, but the odds of that aren't very good. Probably make 10. The way we've been going, it's been 10 out of 40.
Well, you were saying the dimes drill, which is, you go to the baseline, you touch the free throw line. If you do that and then you try to shoot at the three, that's a little more of a realistic scenario. Whereas, if you're practicing and just shooting them
I'm sure. Listen, they make these guys run and then shoot free throws. I'm sure they do the same for threes because that's when you shoot them when you're really tired. And we dog it. Listen, these guys dog it in practice. They get after it.
Absolutely.
They get after each other, and then, they rotate in and out and all that stuff. But, it's just we're about a 31% three-point shooting team. I think that's better than, what was it, the year before last we were 20-some. So it's, hey, if you make your threes, you win, but generally you don't because they're kind of hard to make at a high clip. And this team we thought was going to be a little better at the three-point line. And so far in the new year, hasn't worked out ever since the Oregon game. When we saw that Oregon game, we thought we were going to beat the Bulls, okay? That felt to beat Oregon at Oregon by 32. They've never sustained a loss like that ever. Mm-hmm. So let's just hope. I mean, we got it within us. It just, again, we've struggled mightily with sickness and injury in the new year for sure. So, okay, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow.
Boy, it just flew by. Enjoy your day. Yep. Stay warm.
Thank you so much. The boys this afternoon after 3 with The Drive. More on the Illini game tonight in Madison. It'll be a Madhouse in Madtown. Mm-hmm. Going to be Madison's. I mean, they're playing great. So
let's see how it goes against the Badgers.
All right, that's Diane Ducey. I'm Stevie J. Have a great Tuesday. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. So Tim, he's in charge of Dedicated Diesel and Gale Frericks Trucking. Let's begin with Gale Frericks Trucking. How are we doing?
Oh, we're doing real good. We got a bunch of great guys. We work together, and it's how things are done around here. If we need to fix something, we face it head on, we get it fixed. And that's the kind of guys we're looking for, that really want to service the customer and want to do things right and want to be successful. They want to make good money. They want to be home with their families on the weekends, and that's the kind of guys that we need here.
As far as training and GFT, they kind of go hand in hand, and you got everyone very experienced on your crew.
Oh yeah, it's a great team, and even the ones that don't have much experience, we're teaching them the right ways to do things, and that goes a long way. We don't just tell them what to do. I'm a teacher at heart, so I'm teaching them why we're doing it. That really hits home with them. They appreciate that. It just makes things run so much smoother.
How can people reach Tim Onstock?
They can get me at TIMO@GFTLOG.com or Dedicated Equipment on Facebook.
Illinois basketball season is underway. Single game tickets to see your Fighting Illini at State Farm Center are on sale now at fightingillini.com. Great seats are still available. Lock in your tickets for big games against Big Ten opponents before they're gone. Don't miss your chance to see the winningest team in the Big Ten Conference over the last 5 years. Be part of the atmosphere and get tickets at fightingillini.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
What is most important to you in your life? This is Eric Boland with Provident Financial Group. Whether you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that help clients like you realize their goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Music therapy is a creative arts-based therapy that allows for creativity and expression while working on therapeutic goals. It is evidence-based and is facilitated by a board-certified licensed professional with music interventions to meet clinical and individual goals that are created together with the music therapist from Harmonia Healing Studio and their client. Music therapy is a strength-based, client-centered treatment, listening and making music, songwriting, improvisation, and more. Working with children and adults with intellectual, physical, or cognitive disabilities, mental health, mood disorders, behavioral issues, or trauma and PTSD. Harmonia Healing Studio, 109 North Main Street in St. Joseph. For in-office or telehealth visits, get started now as you reach out to harmoniahealingstudio.com. Visit Harmonia Healing Studio on Facebook or Instagram.
Illinois basketball star Morez Johnson on managing partner at Sarah Champagne, Ben Quattrone.
Ben Quattrone is a great guy. He's like an uncle to me now, a great character person. Sarah Champagne is like a family. Talk to the people that work here sometimes, just to talk to them, and they helped me when I got my car deal. It was very helpful. It wasn't like I was like here all day, like I was bonding with people, have a conversation with them. They're there. Oh, I love my car.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA Champagne.com. This is WSJK Tuscola Champagne.